They were dubbed the Coalition of the Ascendant, the millennials, minorities, and single female voters who helped sweep President Obama into office in 2008 and re-elect him in 2012. It was a powerful bloc that Democrats hoped would lead them to a durable majority. So do Tuesday's results reveal cracks in this coalition? And what does it mean for 2016? So, Jason, how many cracks do you see now in this Democratic coalition?
Yes, there are some cracks. I wouldn't call it a breakthrough, but there was some progress made by Republicans, among blacks, among Hispanics, among women, among young people even.
But blacks
even among
still
people
only
earning less than $50,000, they made some gains.
But still only 10% of the black votes,
It's not a huge amount.
Although 35% of the Hispanic vote.
Rick Scott got 12% in Florida, which was up from 4% 4 years ago. It's a big swing state.
Well, how do you explain that?
It's a big deal. I can't explain it.
I would make at least a theory, a hypothesis: the economy. Yes. He created a lot more jobs, and you saw results over the 4 years.
But it's these baby steps or these mini steps, I think, are still impressive given the race baiting that the left engaged in this midterm election. I mean, given what they threw in terms of tactics at playing the race card and bringing up Ferguson, bringing up Trayvon Martin, and the idea that Republicans are still able to make some gains in that environment, I think is pretty impressive.
A quick follow-on point to what Jason's been saying. The one thing the Democrats lost big with was with white men.
Right.
All right. Now, that's been happening for
a while. By 30 points or more.
Yeah, it was a huge margin. And it's kind of a reverse example of what the Republicans have a problem with Hispanics. And people say, don't worry about it, they're not our people. Past some point, you have a big problem if you have lost the white male vote or lost the Hispanic vote. And I don't see how the Democrats are at this point going to get that vote back.
Kim, what about the exit polling that showed that Republicans really scored very, very well among older voters? 44 and older, they won comfortably. But they lost voters under 44 in the exit polling, and one of the big reasons they won was because so many fewer younger voters turned out this time than in 2012. College kids like to sleep in, whereas people my age and older, we pop up at 4 a.m. and run to the polls. So
you may, Paul.
But what about that for the future of the Republican Party and their chances to become a majority? Obviously, younger people are going to be alive a lot longer than I am.
Yeah, no, you are right. Now, this is traditional. You do tend to see in midterms a drop-off among certain categories of voters, in particular minorities, also younger people. Now, what was notable about the exit polls, though, Paul, is that while Republicans still lost that vote, they made some real gains, especially among millennials. And the theory out there is that, these are the people that are hurting the most from the economic pain out there, and that they feel most glum about their prospects and the future. So to the extent some of them didn't even turn out, that probably was a factor in that. But to the extent that some of them that did turn out voted for Republicans suggested that their economic message, the GOP economic message, was holding out a little bit more hope for some of this voting.
Yeah, and on that point, the white working class vote, the people, white voters who don't have a college degree, went for Republicans almost 2-1. That's a huge hole in what used to be a pretty good voting group for Democrats.
Yeah, and you forget, because when people talk so much about projections on demographics, that's still a fairly large group of people in the United States. But I think the larger problem for Democrats is they should be concerned that parts of their coalition of the Ascendant may be ascending over to the GOP. You look at Asian Americans who, for example, went big for Obama, now kind of coming back to 50-50. And I think what Democrats are going to be tempted to tell themselves is, well, our constituency doesn't show up for midterms, forget about it, 2016 they'll be back. But I don't think they realize that they almost certainly will not have Mitt Romney to kick around anymore. You will not have a Republican candidate, I don't think, so effective at driving minorities and working class whites away from the Republican Party.
And that's the key question. Is that Obama coalition from 2012 transferable to a different kind of Democratic candidate like Hillary Clinton or somebody else?
I think it'll be very hard, Paul, because that candidacy in the large part was based on mood music and sentiment. The question is, what policies will the Democrats now propose to the American people? The minimum wage? Climate change? I doubt it.
And given Obama's approval rating right now, the next Democratic candidate might have to run away from Obama, which will put them in the dilemma that a lot of red state Democrats had this election, which is trying to attract Obama's supporters while distancing themselves from the president.
All right.